Hi again, everybody. We're back. Irina and Susan, two doctors, nurses who love AI. So today we'll you hopefully heard us about prompts in the previous video. Today we'll just show you a little maybe different approach. I feel like it's a little faster than context. So what will we discuss today, Susan, in terms
Yeah,
of
so
prompts?
basically, to think about four key elements in making sure that we have effective prompts. And the whole idea of making sure we have effective prompts is so that you don't waste time. That you get the desired output or outcome that you're looking for. So we look for clarity, context, specificity, and desired outcome as those four key elements.
Element.
Arena?
Perfect. So yeah, with clarity, you really have to think about how to ask AI in a very simple, direct way that's free of ambiguity. And again, I would say, AI, we always say AI is like, if you will humanize it, we'll say AI is so smart. But I like to say AI is like a maybe 5-year-old child where before
Absolutely.
you
Yeah.
like chew it, tell them exactly what it is you
Yeah.
want, it won't understand. So it will actually start giving you information that is wrong, it's
Right.
not correct, and then people say, oh, AI is stupid, or that was stupid. Well, no, you were not clear. So
Correct.
simple, direct, free of ambiguity. And again, we talked about, it's like, physician giving you an order, but it's also, let's say your GPS. Let's say that instead of providing the address, which is clear and direct, you'll say, hey, GPS, bring me to my mom. And your address is not programmed as your mom. So, like, good luck finding where it's probably going
Yeah.
to find a
Yeah.
restaurant that's called My Mom
Yeah.
and get there. So, that's what's important. So, example of what not to do. If you just want to learn about diabetes, you're creating a case study or anything, and you'll just say, hey, AI, ChatGPT, tell me about diabetes. You're going to have so much information from
Yeah.
somebody that's were newly diagnosed 5-year old to like a PhD level. So
Correct.
what you want is basically, again, I don't know if that's what you wanted, but if that's what you wanted, you'll say, provide a nursing care plan for an adult patient newly diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, including 3 priority nursing diagnoses and patient education points. Boom. It should provide you that.
Yeah.
However, you can change it and you can say, provide a information on diabetes. Oh no, like I would say, imagine I'm a diabetic educator and I'm talking to a patient who's newly diagnosed with diabetes. Use eighth grade language, or I can
Correct.
say health literate language, so patient understands and
Yeah.
provide us in the bullet points. So the more orders you can give to AI, the more clear you are, the better your outcome will be.
Absolutely. Great. So next is context. So really, making sure that you provide the adequate background information or situational details so that AI can create the response in the right framework, right? So it's like a case study or a simulation without context is like sending students into clinical without giving a report. Like, what were they going to do? They're just going to go to the patient and do what? There's no kind of direction. So context is about that. So context really assures that the AI generated material aligns with what your specific nursing scenarios might be. So, if you're going to make a quiz. Well, you're going to get a quiz on,
Anything and
how
everything.
the Himalaya mountains, right? You're not giving any context of it. But here, if you say create a 5 question multiple choice quiz for second year BSN students covering fluids and electrolytes aligned with NCLEX style format. Now that's giving context. And then you can even, provide more context about that. Provide what type of NCLEX style format that you're looking for.
Yeah.
A second year BSN students, but what course? Covering fluids and electrolytes. Is that a fundamentals course that might be very different from a fundamentals course than a med surg course?
Right. Yeah.
So again, making sure that context is clear so that the AI can provide what you need.
Yeah, and I would add what I learned, and I use it all the time, is in I would say every AI platform that you can have for free, you can download or upload your whatever you want. So there's like a little plus sign and it says upload information. If
Yeah.
I'm doing something, I will upload the rubric, I will
Yes.
upload the PowerPoint, I will upload
Yes.
everything I need for that
Yeah.
specific class I'm teaching. And then I would ask AI, for example, create 5 question multiple choice quiz based on this PowerPoint presentation that I gave, whatever, this is
Right.
maybe you have a chapter. So whatever you can, and then it's going to take information from what you thought your students provide you with quiz. But again, you have to read and review and make sure that maybe, oh, you know what, I forgot. Like actually, I did not go over this material. So, you choose. So context
Yeah,
is very important.
going back on that too, you can also put in your learning outcomes,
Yeah.
um, student learning outcomes for that, and so that to make sure that the quizzes are aligned with your student outcomes, and that's great for accreditation information as well. So specificity is me.
Specificity, say that 5 times fast.
I know, I can't, so I'm not going to. So basically what it means is to define the scope, depth, and focus of the response. So why does that matter? Well, because, we're really, more concerned about precision, whether documenting vitals or outlining interventions. If a blood pressure was 130 over 70, we're not going to write 140 over 50. I mean, we have to be precise in what we're providing. So prompts that are too broad, that may overwhelm learners or generate irrelevant content. And I want to make sure that people understand that if it generates irrelevant content, you also may be talking about safety, right? If it's irrelevant, it might be unsafe. So really making sure that AI delivers the right level of information. So example would be explain infection control. Well, we need more than that. List 4 infection control measures that nursing students must implement during a simulation scenario involving a patient with suspected C. diff. So that's very specific to what we're looking for. And that's another where you can input your student learning outcomes for that simulation to make sure that that scenario covers those outcomes.
Perfect. And then, desire output. What this is important because I think majority of AI algorithm platforms will just spill out like verbiage, right? Like written, paragraphs. But if your format is, I really need to use the S bar for this, or I need to have like I was create a table using that information. You might want Excel spreadsheet. So like you have to be clear about how you want that information to be spit it out to you. And for example, where, teach about heart failure, again, it's neither here nor there. But if you say for the output, if you say create 1 page, I call it 1 pager,
Yeah.
student friendly handout summarizing the pathophysiology, 3 nursing priorities, and patient teaching strategies, then you are giving your AI a lot more to work with. And that's exactly what it should tell you. Again, make sure you read and understand. Maybe those 3 priorities, maybe they are, but maybe that's not what you want them to focus on. Maybe
Correct.
you'll say, you
Yeah.
know what, use these 3 priorities. Like you just have to be the more, I would say, the more specific you are, the better your AI output will be. And so, again, let's just tie this back in for clarity. The prompt should be easy to understand and free of ambiguity.
Yeah. So like create a discussion question for nursing students about the ethical use of AI in clinical decision making.
Context. Does your prompt include relevant background or purpose?
So here, example would be you are designing an online discussion for a BSN nursing ethics course. Write 1 question that helps students reflect on the ethical use of AI in clinical decision making.
Specificity. Does it guide the AI towards the level or scope you want?
So here, create 1 open-ended discussion question suitable for third-year BSN students focused on the ethical use of AI in clinical decision making.
And desired outcome. Have you described the format, tone, or length of your output? By the way, this is a big one, Susan, because sometimes
Yes.
when I use AI for like my post, and I'll just say, these are my thoughts, like that's what I want, help me craft this better. And this is why I want to warn also everybody that's new to it. a lot of people use AI, they just copy and paste, and it's usually pretty lengthy. It's beautifully written, but right now, attention span of people is like 3 seconds. When I open the post and I see this huge dashes, which I know AI was just copied and paste, and I see that it's a page long. Most of it, I scroll. I was like, I don't have the time. I don't have the
I
time.
go,
So
yeah.
I
So
now
I'm very
say,
specific.
yeah,
So if you look at this example, and no more than 30 words, right?
right,
I mean, because it can spit out a dissertation if you do not give that kind of length of the output. So in this case, it's provide one open-ended discussion question, no more than 30 words. I would go less than that, but that's,
yeah,
that's me. Appropriate for third-year BSN students on the ethical use of AI in clinical decision making. So those are just the four elements that you will use to just make sure that your prompts are effective to get the output that you're looking for. And that's really to make everybody's job a lot easier. That's
yeah.
really the
And
intent.
the homework, if you don't mind, here's what you can do. And it's a little too much, but hear me out. If you want to download this video and upload it into your AI platform and say, I am a nurse educator in AI and I am reviewing this presentation, critique it and provide feedback. Or, like give me bullet points of what was
Yeah.
thought. So you really need to
Summarize. Yeah.
summarize.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
I love the
Yeah.
context, I'm sorry, the framework that we used before, the
Poster.
CoStar. Thank you. But it is like it's a lot. This one is a little easier, and you just have
Yeah.
to remember: is it clear? Did I say what tone I want to use, or like
Yeah.
what the output? And is there a context to it?
Yeah. And sometimes you don't want the prompt too long too. So sometimes I'll make a prompt and maybe I'll just use clarity and tone and length, and then I'll get that, and then I'll further, iterate it with the further, context and specificity that we're looking.
Specificity.
Yeah. So
Yeah. Beautiful. Well, guys, thank you
okay.
so much. Stay tuned, and
See
we'll
you
see you
next
for the
time.
next